Hello there, and welcome to the 28th day of our prayer time together. And we've been talking about discerning the will of God this week, and there's one important time in our lives that I've left out, and those are those times of suffering. How do we discern the will of God in those times of suffering? 1 Peter 4:19 says, "Let those suffering in accordance with God's will entrust themselves to a faithful Creator while continuing to do good." So the first lesson there is that just because we're suffering, that doesn't give us permission to no longer do good, to no longer let the fruits of Christ come out of us. If we've been transformed by God, then we have been transformed by God in all situations, including those times of suffering. So even in those times of suffering, we can be a blessing to other people. But God also can speak to us in those times of suffering. God can teach us a lot of things that we cannot learn any other way but through going through suffering. In fact, Paul said in Romans that we inherit with the Son if we suffer with the Son. A part of being a child of God is being willing to even go into those times of suffering and knowing that the Lord buoys you through all of that, carries you through it, and that our prayer life and the prayer lives of our brothers and sisters is more than strong enough to get us through it. And while we're going through those times, if we pay attention, God can teach us incredible things. Just today, the day I'm filming this is a few days after Hurricane Sandy hit the northeast coast. And just today on the news, I saw a beautiful young woman talking on the news saying, oh, how she missed those regular days. The days when bills came in the mail, the days when you get up and you go to your regular job, all of those things that you gripe and complain about all of the time until they're taken away from you. Suffering can teach us how to really appreciate life in ways that regular life can't teach us. Do I celebrate suffering? No, I don't celebrate suffering. Do I want you to suffer? Of course not. But we do suffer. And it's a part of life. God doesn't abandon us in that suffering. And through our prayers, we can hear God say some incredibly important, maybe some of the deepest things that we'll ever hear in our lives. A gift to us from God through suffering. Be a blessing to people today, especially those that are suffering. And let those that are suffering be a blessing to you because they can be.